What's going on, guys? Can you guys hear me? Just let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. Okay. All right. Ignore this right here. That was just I just had that there. I was testing. I was back testing. Well, forward testing something, but um, Pang. What do you mean? Can you please keep it? I'm not sure if I understand what you mean. Oh yeah, the video is gonna be uploaded anyway. So like anytime I do a live, it is usually uploaded by the next day. So don't worry if you miss something. It's not a big deal. Um, I want to apologize. It took me a little bit to get going. I'm not on my computer because I'm not home, so I'm using somebody else's computer. Um, so I had to get everything set up, and it's my first time using OBS. So hopefully it goes well. Because I'm still figuring out the whole streaming thing as well. This is only my third time, I think, going live. So yeah, just bear with me as I try to figure it out. I think that's why I've been late a couple of times now. But if there are any issues with the audio, just let me know. Um, yeah. So I'm gonna kind of just break down today's price action, talk about why I was looking for longs earlier, and then if you guys have questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I know there were some questions on the Telegram channel about some of the liquidity levels that I was choosing. So if you guys are here and have those questions about how I choose my liquidity levels, which ones I favor, how I choose my targets and whatnot, just put in the chat and I'm going to do my best to answer them as soon as possible. Yeah? But let's kind of get started. So I'm going to just go to the 1 hour. So here's the thing, right? Here's what I was seeing. Gold actually had over the last couple of days. This is a classic market maker sell model. So if I actually go to the daily, I want you guys to see this. After this candle right here, so the 2nd of February, right? Once this candle closed, let's just take a look. There's this fair value gap over here that forms, right? And so now when this candle on February the 3rd, when that forms, notice how, oops, I want to go to the 1 hour. Notice how what happens is we come all the way down. Wait, this wasn't it. It was here. Oh, so the 3rd opens up over here. This is the 2nd. We start bouncing a little bit. we go into that fair value gap having left behind this gap, right? And now I'm not perfect at trading the market maker models, but the way I like to think about it is when you've got a fair value gap like this after a big dump, right? We have a term for that, right? We call that internal liquidity, right? And then the way you want to see a trend proceed when markets are on a trend, you want to see price hit external liquidity, which means new swing highs and swing lows. So for example, this now would be external liquidity, right? Because it would be a new swing low that we want to attack eventually, right? But before we go for external liquidity, you want to see price retrace into an internal liquidity, or a level where there is internal liquidity, and then you want to see the rejection and come back down. So for me, this was a market maker sell model, because before coming back to fill this gap as my first target and eventually down here, which we haven't done yet, by the way, price was gradually moving up into that daily fair value gap. So usually what you see is price forming a local bullish structure. You see how there's a high, higher low, higher high, higher low into that key level where price tends to range, and then you get a structure shift back down to your key levels, right? So that's essentially what happened here. Now, once we closed that gap overnight, then price began bouncing, right? And you notice how this is almost like a V reversal, you could say. But for me, my target was going to be the swing highs here. So now we're forming the right side of the curve, right? So this is now going to be the left side, and this is going to be the right side of the curve, right? After you hit a key level like this, and vice versa. Before this happened today, this was the right side of the curve relative to this. So all of this was, the move up, and then now you've got the right side of the curve after hitting a key level. So you might wonder then, okay, what's the point of having that? Well, for me, the left side of the curve kind of gives me an idea of what to target, right? So the swing lows here are always going to be my targets. So when price starts moving this way, this is going to be the first target. Then it retraces to a premium, comes back down. These swing lows are my next target, right? Eventually price hits that and eventually goes for this gap right here. Now, once we hit that key level, and now we see that the local structure is shifting again, now I'm going to use the left side of the curve. So that was this downtrend to figure out where the next highs and lows are going to be. All right, so this coincided with yesterday's London high. That's why that was a target. When I opened the charts, it was somewhere about London session today. We were pretty much already here, but I expected price to go all the way up here. So that's what I was looking for as my target. These were equal highs. I didn't really expect price to just stall here. I wanted to see it go higher. And so that's why my bias for today was bullish, looking for higher prices. Now, on the 30-minute, what I like to see is, let me open 7 a.m., 7 a.m. right here. So that's the 7 a.m. This is when New York kill zone starts. Right? And you notice how we got that move lower first? I usually really like to see that. 7 a.m. I want to see a manipulation, right? So if I'm bullish, right, and I'm expecting price to take out the highs, what I want is the 7 a.m. to 7:30 30-minute candle, or the 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. candle to be a bearish candle, right? Because I want the following candle to be a bullish engulfing candle, right? Thereby making this candle right here an order block. Now the issue is this candle right here, this wick, this was not fully enclosed by this one. And for me, that is a necessity. Like that's my model. I want to see a bullish engulfing before it continues higher. We didn't get that, right? Instead, we fell right short of it, but ultimately the idea was correct where price continued moving higher anyway and has now taken out my target, right? So the trade for me would have been this. This is the same one that I posted on Telegram. The lows, yeah, you could use either one. I go back and forth sometimes. And the target would have been right around up here. right? A 1.5 R is usually one that I aim for at the very least. So that was the trade that I was looking for today. Um, Once we saw that bounce from this gap, and I saw that, okay, Asia was trending higher, London was trending higher. On top of that, bullish PD arrays are being respected, right? What do I mean by that? Notice how the midnight candle, this green one, engulfed this one, and when price came back, it was being respected, right? So price comes here, respected, price comes here, respected, and then pushing higher. So what does that tell me? That tells me that bullish PD arrays right now are being respected, and price wants to draw higher, right? To swing highs. So for me, the immediate level was this swing high, but then I also wanted to see yesterday's London high swept. So that was my ultimate target. Okay, so that was the general idea behind uh, today's trade, or why I wanted today's trade. The idea, as I said, worked fine. I just didn't get my entry because that candle did not close a bullish engulfing. But it is what it is. Now, I do think that price is eventually going to draw up here. So Wednesday's high above $5,000. That's going to be my next target for price. And I'm going to go to the 4-hour because I'm looking at a swing level here. Notice how we had an engulfing. This candle just gave a bullish engulfing over this one, right? And so now this candle, the one that just got engulfed, that's going to be my order block, right? And you see how price already came down to it and respected it. Now, this is something, I'm just going to do it for full disclosure, but I do have a swing trade on gold open once that candle closed at about 9 a.m. with me targeting these highs, right? So again, that's a 1.5 R. I got my entry on the retest of this 4 R candle when the 9 o'clock candle opened, right? So this is a swing entry. The idea is pretty much the same, right? But on a higher time frame. We've just bounced off a key level. We came back down here to close this gap. We got a reaction right away, and now we've got a bullish engulfing forming about this candle, and so my next target is going to be the next swing high. Okay, so this is probably something I'm going to have to hold overnight, but I'm going to see how. I mean, there's still 6 hours, I think, before the market closes, so I'm going to have to wait and see how price reacts over the next 6 hours before I mean, I don't think I'm going to be awake that late, but I've probably got about 4 hours in me right now because it's already 10 p.m. where I am. But I will probably keep an eye over the next 4 hours just to watch how price reacts, see if I should get out early or if I should move my stops, because with the weekend coming up, you never know if price is going to open up with a gap, right? And it's hard to tell if it's going to be a gap lower or a gap higher. So I don't really want to be risking my capital on that. But this right now is my swing trade. And then earlier was my lower time frame trade for today that I wanted to take but didn't get because even though the idea was correct, my entry criteria was not satisfied. All right. If you guys have a question, please let me know. If there's something you want me to go over, let me know as well. Or another chart you want me to go over. I got about 40 minutes that I figure I just use to help you guys in case there are any questions. This one, yes, this is a higher time frame trade for me. I don't know if did I say swing? Because I don't know. I guess maybe I'm a little iffy with my definition of swing. For me, a swing trade would be like over days or weeks, maybe. Well, maybe I don't know. I'm iffy with my definitions, but yeah, this one I'm definitely holding for now. This is on the 4 hour time frame, so it's definitely not an intraday. Um, I mean, gold is super volatile, so we could just go straight up for my target today, right? And that would make it intraday, I guess. But yeah, this one, I mean, when I got into it, I don't know, like I didn't necessarily expect this high to get taken today, but I do early next week, which is why I'm, in this trade. And if it is going to be over up until Monday or Tuesday, that's fine with me. Pang, yeah, no problem, man. I hope that was helpful. Just, keep keep asking or talking to me in the Telegram, and I'm gonna do whatever I can to share. I do want to mention that, because this has been an issue several times, so I keep emphasizing this. Even some of you guys who've been there have probably heard this as well. I None of this is financial advice. Yeah, this is just how I trade, how I look at markets. Um, I don't give signals. I don't ever plan to. I don't ever want to sell anything in terms like in that regard. I've had people reach out to me for one-on-ones. I do that because I'm giving my time. I'll share whatever I can, but I don't sell signals. I never will. So this is just educational stuff for me. It's just how I trade. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Take a look at Bitcoin real quick. Um, Wait, why is this not loading fully? Oh, this is the futures. My bad. Where's the Bybit chart? No? Hold on. Just trying to find the Bitcoin chart. That's, what? Hold on, am I tripping? Why can't I? Are you asking me about gold, Carolina? I don't get why I can't find Bybit over here. That's so weird. It's only the futures, and I'm not trying to do futures. But Carolina, if you're asking about gold, let me know. I'll share with you what I might look for another entry. But yeah, I'm not sure if that's what you're asking about. Can't find it. Okay, so that's USDT. I don't know, we'll just think that. All right, Bitcoin. All right, so let's just kind of review this, right? We have a clear market structure shift on the weekly right now. For me, the saving grace here would be if we get back above 74K. That's going to be huge. That was so my target was if we broke down below. So my initial target was a sweep of 74K, and then it was 68K, which is just about where we're hanging right now. If I just bring out my volume profile, I think I had this. Oh wow, okay, this is actually really different from the USD one. Yeah, USDT. Because I'm used to using the USD chart. I can't find it right now, but this is the USDT chart. Wow, this is okay. So over there, the point of control is somewhere down here. But you see how this red line right here, that's our point of control right now for this chart. And price, once it gained acceptance back into the value area high over here, which was basically when price broke down below 100K. You see how price just kind of ranges below it? It comes here. We've also got this fair value gap. I remember I drew this in the USD chart, but you see how that's coming in with the value area high at 98K. So over here, this one's slightly higher than the one that I had marked out on the USD chart. But same idea holds, right? We've got the value area high of the volume profile. With this fair value gap, price goes up, comes back down. And where does it go now? The next set of high volume nodes, which in this case is the point of control. That's exactly where we bounced off of. Now, if we lose this, if we lose 63, 64K, then I can't help but think that we end up going down here to 32,000. Right? This is just using the volume profile alone. But the first target would be to sweep these lows at 49,000. So that's probably what I'd be watching for Bitcoin. But yeah, once this guy broke 74,000, my next target was 68,000. Which was, the top of this consolidation zone right here. All right, so that's Bitcoin for me right now. I wanna, if there's any hope for bulls, I want to see price get back above 74,000. Have this be something like a swing failure pattern. Maybe a range here, but yeah, this looks like a structure shift. Looks like even a head and shoulders maybe. So just something to keep in mind. All right, Carolina, let's go back to gold real quick. That's what you were asking about, right? All right. So first off, so you're asking another possible re-entry. Would there be one? For me, it would only happen if we got another order block that formed between here and here. I don't know if that's gonna happen tonight or if it's gonna happen on Monday. Just because there's only after this one, there's only one more 4-hour candle left before the market closes, right? However, you could always scalp the 4-hour candles. So you take a look at this. You basically have low-key a trending market here, right? It's not a super clean trend. So if I just get rid of those right now, if you look here, this really isn't clean. This is a grind higher, and it's not something that I personally enjoy, which was why I wasn't overly aggressive with my entries today, because I noticed, when you've got a bunch of these lows that are forming higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, and none of them are really being swept, it kind of makes me a little skeptical that you could get one of those manipulation wicks, or yeah, that happens to just take out some of this liquidity, right? Which was why I wasn't, like I said, why I wasn't aggressive today. But regardless, even though there's no fair value gap or displacement higher, the truth is this is still an uptrend by definition, right? We're still gradually pushing higher, and it's supported by the higher time frame that I showed, right? We bounced off this gap, now we're pushing higher. So for me, every time there's an order block that's formed, that's where I'm looking to get my entry, right? So that now is that last one. This is what I want to see protected if we are going to make it to those highs today, later tonight, or during the PM session, right? You could even scalp it at these highs first. It's 49.90, 49.86, right? But I want to see this red region. I want to see this protected. So I don't know, based on how, if price comes down here, well, I mean, it's really not that far away, right? But if price comes down here and I see a reaction on say the 5-minute where we're showing a bullish engulfing or something along those lines, then for me that might warrant a scalp up to these levels, or even So what I'm talking about is something like this, right? Actually, let me go down to the 5-minute. So if price starts coming down here, right? But then we start seeing a bit of a reaction, either a structure shift or whatever, or an engulfing somewhere, right? Then now I'm going to be thinking about, potentially taking an entry, right, or a scalp entry, and the first target would be new highs. So wherever we form a high over here, that would end up being my first target. For a scalp like that, usually the last swing high, that's called the low hanging fruit, right? Um, it's called that because that's usually an easy TP to look at. So for me, that would be the level that I would want to target as my first TP, and then up to here. All right, so yeah, I mean, I will keep an eye out for it. Um, but I guess that's what I would be looking at if I wanted, if I missed out on an entry and I wanted another. You see how, there you go. You see how it's kind of, there's a couple things here actually. So this is now a previous swing level, right? You notice it's all of these. You see how these were the levels where price was being rejected, right? So obviously I want to see this hold as support now. That's number one. Number two, this is also a 30-minute order block. So I don't want to see this low violated at all. So this coming down here, that could already be a scalp. For me, did I take it? No, I did not. I'm not going to lie because I already have a 4-hour swing in, right? But yeah, if we, and if I wanted to add more, I'd probably want to see some of these levels. Maybe that one like swept a little more. This is just, I don't like this slow grind higher right now. I just really don't. There's no displacement. There's none of that. But like I said, this low, that's going to be my protected low. I don't want to see price go back down. I think that was a low, right? 49, yeah, 49.05. This is my protected low. So it would probably look something like this. I don't even know what the RR is on this right now. So, all right, that's it's a 1.4 to that first, to this high right here. To here, it's even lower, right? 0.7. So it's a tricky trade to take because that's a what? 300, 350 pip stop loss. So yeah, but and then obviously this would be the next target. So that would be a good trade, right? A 2.5 R. But yeah, my first TP would definitely be one of these two places. That would be re-entry for me if I wanted to take an intraday one. Right, that 30-minute order block, want to see it respected. 15-minute order block, want to see it respected. These levels, the previous swing highs, now I want to see those respected. And then the target would be, as I mentioned, up here. So that's gold for now. I would probably go down to the 5-minute to kind of monitor the reactions just to see if the level is in fact being respected. Damn, so I didn't know the stream quality actually isn't that great, and I'm just realizing that now. That's kind of annoying. I'm gonna be sure to fix that for next time. Yeah, I apologize about that. Like I said, I'm still new to streaming in general, so I am figuring it out. But bear with me. I'm gonna try to, I'm working on it. Hey Edward, I don't have a fixed schedule for live streams. Like I said, I just kind of started it a couple of weeks ago. I'm gonna try to get in twice a week at least. Um, and it's usually gonna be the New York session. I remember the last time was around 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. Today I wanted it to be 9:30, but I was figuring the stream out, so um, I think I got in around 9:45, 9:50, something like that. But Yeah, usually around 8:30. But yeah, like I said, the days are not scheduled because I work when I have my own academy over here, so not trading. I have an academy for school, like I teach physics and calculus. So I usually have students until like 9, 10 p.m., and I'm 12-hour difference from Eastern time. So on most days, it's hard for me to stream the New York session. I'll see. I'll consider doing London sometime, but most of my models are New York session based. Boy, that stream quality is really bugging me. I definitely gotta fix that. I will for next time. Right, do we have any other questions or any other charts that we should go? I want to look at silver actually. Silver's had one heck of a dump. Yeah, so silver has swept my lows all the way down here. Right, so I wanted these equal lows swept. We got that overnight as gold went to fill out that gap. Just overall, silver has been far weaker than gold over the last, I don't know, since last Friday, since the dump started. Um, Now I'd be lying if I said I'm bearish, like in the long term. I'm really not bearish. I mean, we probably see like a range form, but I'm not seeing price go all the way back down into like the 30s or anything. Not another 50% drop from here. Um, my target was those $70 lows. We got it. That's fine. But yeah, it's hard to be overly bearish. I I don't know. This is tough. I want to see it, kind of range out in that 50 to $60 area. That's what I would like for silver to do. So this area right here, kind of like just find a floor somewhere here, move sideways while the world figures itself out with all the uncertainty going on, and then you know gear up for another one. Because I mean, silver is fueled by industrial demand, right? So it's kind of hard to count it out in the long run. AI, EV, solar energy, all these things, the amount of silver that's going to be required to make all that happen, there's just not enough supply. So it's really hard to bet against it. Yeah, no problem, Carolina. I hope that was helpful. But yeah, I just wouldn't bet against silver in the long run. So, I don't want it to just go crazy pumping because this was given Bitcoin vibes whenever Bitcoin has a blow off top, which was I grew really skeptical of it after New Year's because we had a crazy. I mean, where did we start? New Year's. We started right here at about $70, and we went all the way to $125. That was nearly a double, right? In a month, less than a month, three and a half weeks, we had nearly 100% move on silver. Those are Bitcoin numbers, crypto numbers, right? And whenever crypto goes off like that, or whenever anything goes off like that, you're probably going to get a blow off top at some point. So yeah, I grew really skeptical the last couple of weeks, and then eventually this happened. It was just waiting for one news event to come out and really mess this rally up. And that's exactly what happened last week, right? So that was silver, but yeah, like I said, in the long run, I'm just not betting against this. I want to see it find a range here and then go back up. I think I know why the stream quality is, yeah. I'm just gonna change that, to be honest. Oh well, if that didn't fix it, I don't know what will. But yeah, anyway, that's over. Uh, that's my views on metals for now. I am still bullish gold as well, overall, obviously. Right? You don't really. I don't know. I think the internet's just really bad where I am, and that's affecting the stream quality. So, I don't know. If you guys got any questions, let me know while I try to fix this. I'm gonna keep an eye on the chat, but let me know. I'm just gonna go back to gold here real quick. Gotta keep an eye on what's going on here. Alright, we got that move down to that zone. Again, protected low down here. Let's see now if, if it goes, towards some of these levels that I outlined. Yeah, so I don't know how I'm gonna fix that stream quality right now while this is on, but um, I'm just gonna leave this on for a little longer just to kind of see if we end up hitting the targets that I outlined for Carolina earlier. Let's just see how it plays out. Probably hang out for about 10-15 more minutes, and then I'll fix it for next time. The quality, that's for sure. Hey Stu, I'm guessing that I don't know if it's Stu, Killian, or what, but for sure, man. I think everything comes down to for me. I think it all comes down to risk management, right? It's never about getting every trade right. It's not about winning every trade or having an insane winning probability. I think it's about playing the odds and the numbers. Find a setup that has been, tested to give an edge, and then to be able to manage your emotions and manage your risk while you execute when you see the opportunity. And it's a lot easier said than done, but we're humans, right? And as humans, we're gonna have emotions, so it's so difficult to take out all of those emotions from the decision making process. It's quite a journey, and that's why I feel like trading is kind of like, and I'm not recommending anyone get into it, but that's why I feel it can be a really rewarding journey, because I think more than the charts, it's about just learning about yourself and being in control of yourself, trying to be as objective and as rational as possible. So I actually went over the trade that I wanted today during the New York session already, and I mean, I'll kind of give you a basic rundown, but you can watch it again when this is uploaded, right? But the general idea for me was price bounced off a key level. We were trending higher. Bullish PD arrays were being respected. We had this fair value gap that was respected. Then we had this order block that was respected. So you see these guys over here, these candles, they're respecting the fair value gap. Then when we form an order block, these wicks are respecting it. So that's telling me that the draw is probably higher for now. So my initial target coming into today was these equal highs and that high right there. So when New York started, the New York Kill Zone around 7 a.m., my model for a continuation is that I want to see a manipulation happen at 7. It's exactly what happened here, meaning that if I'm bullish, I'm looking for a bit of a bearish candle to form, right? And so we got this, and the reason I want that is because I want the following candle to engulf it, right? That shows me that we're ready to move higher, and that's going to give me a very easy place to put a stop loss, the low of the engulfed candle or the low of the engulfing candle. I go back and forth, right? It's really going to depend on the RR and how much I want to risk. But we didn't get that, right? We fell short. You notice how this did not close up above that wick. So I did not execute my trade. The idea was right. We ended up taking out the high, this high, and then this high. Just, it is what it is. And then there's also the swing trade that I took. This one I'm still holding off of this order block. So it looks something like this. I forgot what I put. Did I put it? Yeah. I think it. Anyway, but this is because we pushed up higher, got a candle closure above, and then now this candle, the one that opened at 9 o'clock, came down to retest that order block. So for me, that's a bit more of a swing trade. But yeah, you can see it in a little more detail when I upload it. It'll probably be uploaded by tomorrow morning. I'm not sure what you mean about when and how I executed the swing trade. I mean, I just kind of mentioned it, right? Once this candle engulfed that, my entry was a retest of this candle. We got that with this 9 o'clock open, right? This new candle, when it went down there, that was my entry when it dips into this candle. So on a swing level, I don't usually take it on the candle closure. I do that on a lower time frame when I'm scalping my trades. But when I take higher time frame trades like this one, I take it on the retest because these can be, these are a lot of pips. And so you're risking a lot more money if you're trading on the higher time frame. So I rather make my entries a little more precise. Now, if you go to lower time frame, let's take a look at what happened. It's this right here, right? And think about when it happened. 9:30. 9:30 manipulation, right? So come down, tap that level. I know we push up right away. So that's kind of what I'm holding right now on a swing. Yeah, I trade both. If I see a higher time frame setup, I'll take a higher time frame setup. If I see a lower time frame, I'll take a lower time frame. But usually on the Telegram, I'm only posting my intraday. My swings are, it, because it's longer term. I just kind of keep it to myself. But yeah, I do both depending on what the opportunities are. I personally think that swinging is slightly easier in the sense that there's less noise. You see a lot of wicks in 5, 15, 1 minute, whatever, that goes against bias sometimes, and it's really easy to get stopped out. So I think hard time frame is actually a lot cleaner. The only issue with hard time frame is that your stops are going to be much wider because, well, they're higher time frame. So some people don't like that. And number two, it requires a lot more patience. So, and that's not just patience of sitting in a trade waiting for it to play out, but it's also patience of um, waiting for your setup to even form. So you go a lot longer without being in a trade sometimes because your swing setups might form on the 4 hour or on the daily rather than the 5 or the 15 minute. I mean, the setup was on the 4 hour, right? So that's why it's a swing because it's on a higher time frame. It really depends on which time frame you see the setup in, right? If I see a setup on the 4 hour, I'm not really. I mean, how do I scalp that? That's a 4 hour time frame setup. With swing, do I use smaller lot sizes? Yes, absolutely. Ultimately, I fix how much I want to risk in terms of the dollar amount. Well, not the dollar amount. Sorry, the percentage that I'm willing to lose each trade. So if say I have a $10,000 account and I only want to risk 2% a trade, that's gonna be $200, right? I'm not gonna move or make my stop loss such that I only lose $200. I have to fix my lot size. The reason being is that every trade will have a different entry, a different stop loss, and a different TP. It's based on an idea of why you're taking your trade, right? So naturally, your invalidation for any trade will change from trade to trade. So if you're holding your stop loss a fixed number of pips away, that's not really going with your idea, right? That you're not waiting for invalidation. You're rather being mechanical about it. And for me, that doesn't work. I prefer to have my stop loss based on my ideas of why I'm taking a trade, where's my invalidation, and then I'm going to adjust my lot size accordingly to make sure that I only lose those $200 or that 2% of my account. So because on a swing trade, the stop loss, the number of pips to a stop loss is much more, I am naturally going to trade a smaller lot size. Yep, no problem, man. Damn, man, you're a doctor? Wow, that's uh, that's not easy. So kudos to you, man. That's you know, it's always Not easy at all. Respect. But yeah, man, just don't let that desire to want to be a good trader make you impatient, because that's going to be your biggest vice that you're going to have to overcome, assuming that is a problem for you. Yeah, I know it was a big problem for me. I wanted it so much I couldn't even wait to be a good trader. And I don't even know if I'm there yet, but it made me so impatient that I was rushing into trades. I was getting greedy, just doing all sorts of crazy things, blowing my account all the time. So the manipulation time, I mean, okay, I hate to say that there's going to be a fixed manipulation time, because honestly, a manipulation can happen anytime, right? But based on what I've back tested, there's like two windows for me where I really want to see it. If I'm looking to trade a continuation, which was actually the case today, right? Where we've been trending higher over here. So I want to trade a continuation because there was no reason for me to be bearish on an intraday time frame. My drawn liquidity was higher. So that if I'm trading New York, then the 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. is usually where I want to see the manipulation happen, right? And that was this right here. So you see how we got that move down? It's exactly at the time that I wanted. I love it between 7 to 7:30 or 7 to 8. And then 8 a.m. or or whenever the candle forms, either 7:30 to 8 or 8 onwards is when I want to see the move in the same direction happen to give me confirmation that, hey, okay, this was a manipulation. This is usually for my continuation model, right? But then for if I'm not looking for a continuation model, if for example London was ranging or there's a clear high and a clear low, and I'm not necessarily bullish or bearish, then what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to look for a wick above either the high or the low. And that I usually wanted to be between 9 and 9:30, right? So, and then before, we get a move to the other end of the range. So it really depends. I think everybody like is gonna have like, I don't want to say there's a fixed time, because that's not really, I don't think that, trading should be rigid in that sense. But based on what I've back tested, these are the moments where I notice it happens rather frequently, and you can find a good reaction if it happens from there. But yeah, I'd suggest you go back test it and check it out yourself. But that's how it is for me. What do you mean, Stu? What did it take for me to change what? The impatience? If that's your question, then the answer is, well, for me, I got sick of losing. I really got sick of losing. I lost a lot of money in general, and it was just bad habits. And I was at a pretty low point until I just told myself, all right, well, I got to figure this out. But more practically, like that was just a mental thing, right? But on a practical level, for me, it came down to having another source of income. So I tried to make trading my full time thing from the get go. I don't think that was a very smart decision, because it puts so much pressure on you to have to succeed right away when you've got rent to pay, when you've got bills to pay. Um, when you have that kind of pressure and you're trading, it's not going to end well. So I had to make sure that this was a side thing for me. I mean, when that happened, then I was like, okay, I don't really have that same pressure on my shoulders anymore. So I can wait. I can be a little more patient. I can exercise patience and just wait for my setups for high probability things. So that really helps. I didn't really do anything different, man. I just didn't trade as much. I took some time off, came back tested, and then after I back tested, I didn't suddenly feel like, oh, I'm really excited. I gotta get into trades now. I just kind of continued my work that I do during the day, And then if there was a trade, there was a trade. If there isn't, there isn't. That's why sometimes I can go like a week, 2 weeks with only one or two trades, or even no trades at all. It's fine. Like, yeah, I want to trade, but it's not the end of the world if I don't get one, because I'm just not trying to get into low probability trades, right? I'm gonna wait for my model no matter what. Um, did I trade paper? Like you mean like demo trading? Um, Not really, because my problem wasn't always strategy. It was more emotions. And I think demo trading is good if you're trying to back test and forward test a strategy, but I think it doesn't really simulate the same emotions you would feel. You know, if you were trading a live account, and by no means am I suggesting that anyone should be trading a live account, but yeah, I kept it at that. Boy, this is one boring range, huh? Um, Account size, man. To be honest, like what I did was I just got a small prop account with like 5K, and then 5K USD. You know, basically the smallest size for a prop account, and I was just testing on that because I mean I wasn't really losing real money because prop accounts they're simulated money, right? But at the same time, you lose a little bit of money purchasing the account, so you kind of don't want to waste that money, like lose that money on purchasing a prop account, so you try harder than just to gamble outright. But I started with like a $5,000 account, and I would just practice on that because it's really easy to get greedy and to end up rushing yourself when you trade on a really big account. At least that's what I felt about myself. And after a while, I was like, okay, you know what? Ultimately, if it really is about risk management, you should be able to translate the skills that you learn on a 5K account to a 100K account or to a 200K account. So the goal was just, okay, let me start off with a smaller account, build the right habits, and then go from there. That's really what the goal was for me. All right, well, if there's nothing more, I'm probably gonna end this in a minute. Just lazy to watch how this plays out. Just a FYI, this is not a trade that I'm in. It was just a trading idea that I discussed. when when I was asked by one of you guys to see where I would get a re-entry for my scalp. So just putting that out there. Um, so JK, I prefer trading within the kill zone times. Um, I used to trade a lot during London, not so much anymore. Now I usually just trade between 9 and 10. Right, 9 to 10 is when I trade. Usually moves happen a lot more swift. Like there are a lot more swift moves in that time. If you end up trading like during the gaps between the kill zones, like the volume's usually a lot less, moves are slower, and I don't like a lot of my trades that I take. I want them to be quick in the sense that okay, I'm in. There's like for example, I get a liquidity sweep. For example, I get a liquidity sweep. I take my entry, and then I want to see it move to my target right, like quick. I don't want to see it like just kind of grind around. Like you see, that's exactly what's happening over here, right? And that's to me, it's because well, it's already after 10. So I'm not surprised by this. It just makes price action really boring. Yeah, this is gold right now. This is the trade that we discussed, Carolina. Right, because price basically came back here, and like I said, the protected low is down here. Um, and we've just been moving sideways for the better part of this hour. So I don't really like this kind of price action, which is why I prefer the kill zones in general. There's more volume and it's just faster. There's like this really annoying siren in the background, so I'm sorry about that. The kill zones. How do I identify it? I learned what we learned from ICT. Obviously, it makes sense that there are sessions during the trading day. So there's the Asia session, there's the London session, and then there's the New York session. It's just when the times during which those markets are open. But the kill zones are supposedly like when the volume is just higher, right? And I think it starts 1 hour before the market actually opens. So for Asia, it's 8 p.m. to midnight, and all these times that I'm saying are in their Eastern time. It's 8 p.m. to midnight, and then London is 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. and then New York is 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. if I'm not mistaken. But those are the times that I use personally for my kill zones. I actually did not take a look at Nasdaq today. Curious how that played out today. Oh wow, um, that's a little ugly. We had a yeah, you see 9:30. Oh, 9:30 got a sweep. all of that, push up. But this is just ugly chop, sideways, not much there. Could we go all the way down here? That is the question, right? That's the next low I probably want to see for a liquidity sweep. We swept those highs, we've taken out that low, that low. That really is the next low in question. Maybe we go back into a premium first. Premium would be above equilibrium, so anywhere above here. That would be OTE, right, as well. Coming in with this order block. But, oh well. Gold is dropping. Let's see. I wouldn't be surprised. No, it's not. It's right there. It's in the same place. How is gold dropping? Not sure which chart you're looking at, Carolina. Gold is not dropping right now. Still fine. Might even just go hit that target right now, right? So that would be the low-hanging fruit, TP1 that we were talking about earlier. Is this going to be the move? That is the question. Let me know if there's a lag or anything, yeah? Kind of trying to go out, but at the same time, I want to see if this is we finally break out of this range over here. Want to see those highs swept? I don't know how the dollar did today. Oh, gee. I think that happened with us coming into a premium as well. Yep. Came up above the 50%. We're in a downtrend. Price fills the gap out, comes up into a premium, and now we're getting a bit of a reaction. It would be nice if we can get back under that gap. This is the weekly, right? Now, if we could break and close above these highs over here, that would be swell. I think we formed the right side of the curve and go for the highs again. This would have been a nice little market maker buy model. Well, probably something to watch for next week. No reaction this week for Euro. Wasn't worth trading. Yeah, honestly, if this candle just starts closing like this, I'm gonna end it because I'm not trying to wait if we're struggling to see a reaction. This is why I don't like trading after 10. You guys see it right here. This isn't fun to be part of. Right? That's why I like being done before 10 o'clock. For gold, I think that 8 to 10, 7 to 10, that's honestly the best time there is. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna call it a night on my end. Hopefully that was helpful. Probably see you guys in the Telegram channel a little later. Have a good night, guys.